Good morning. How are you doing? Hey, just trying. All right. Now, today, we're still looking at how events are unrolling. Okay. And referring to Ukraine and Russia, we are still familiar with the Russian convoy, the Russian forces smashing through Kiev, and already several casualties on both sides have been noted. Uh, it's a tragedy on both sides. It's a war that perhaps we don't want to happen, but Putin seems determined to make us drive. This is on account of the fact that, according to news reports, Putin did not like the idea of NATO missiles uh, poised towards the heart of Russia, especially with Ukraine joining or about to join NATO. And not only NATO, but also the European Union. As of yesterday, we received reports that uh, Ukraine applied for EU membership. EU promptly rejected the application for whatever reason, maybe temporarily subject to further study in view of the ongoing war, perhaps in order not to further antagonize Putin. Now, uh, but already there is a recent report that 40,000 troops were sent to Ukraine, uh, either by EU or by NATO. Now, that I'm not quite sure, but certainly the news was exact in saying that 40,000 troops were sent to Ukraine to beef up the Ukraine forces resisting the Russian advance. Right now, uh, So that's that part. Now let's breeze through the other stories. Of course, military casualties were noted on both sides. Uh, let's look at this. Okay, just a minute. Okay, now there's another news here. It says U.S. U.S. Third Armored Battalion crosses the border to intercept the Russian army. Well, it's just a question. Uh, okay. Oh, there's another one here that says
target on the center of town in Kyiv, an act of terror. As a 40-mile Russian military convoy advances towards Ukraine's second largest city,
okay, you can hear that.
U.S. troops arrived in Germany to form part of NATO's eastern.
Okay. 200 U.S. troops arrive in Germany. 200. As Russia targets Kyiv. Okay. Now, this story says a 40-mile Russian military convoy is rushing towards Ukraine's second largest city. All right, now, mhm. All right, now, that is, in the meantime, Zelensky, Ukraine's president, vows to fight on. As 40-mile-long Russian convoy arrives. 40-mile-long Russian convoy. You can see how massive that is. A Russian missile left a devastating scene after blowing up a government building in Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city. Rescue workers searched for survivors, finding one man who was badly wounded and rushing him down a set of stairs that were miraculously still intact. Okay, this is the what's this? This is the inside edition. Inside edition. All right, so we want to give credit to whom credit is due. So that came from the inside edition. And here's another one. Uh, Another one. The world's largest cargo plane destroyed in Ukraine. It's supposed to be the Antonovan 225 cargo plane. It was destroyed in a Russian assault on an airfield near Kiev. The Antonov An 225M RIA was designed as part of the former Soviet Union's space program. All right, so that's as far as we go there. But you know, as we scan the events of history happening right before our eyes, we know that things are not coming to a halt. They are widening, broadening, beefing up, adding forces, and as the rampaging Russian convoy of about 40 miles long is heading towards more parts of Ukraine. Yes. Now let's see what's other news. Hmm. On the presidential debate in CNN. Uh, well, it was a good try. Uh, Bongbong and Sarah were not there. Uh, and uh, it was for a good reason, as the other candidates also declined to attend the SMNI forum. Now, as to whether it was a debate or not, others said it was just a forum and it was not really a debate. Well, let's leave it at that first. It's not for us to say whether it was a debate or not, but certainly there was an exchange of views and opinions. Yes. Now, uh, Bongbong Marcos, according to TP, already has a 64% rating, uh, a share of votes. Share of votes. That means only 36% is left for the other candidates to scramble for, right? Uh, and out of 36%, you might concede that 10% as of this time would still be non-committal, still neutral, but will perhaps, when voting time comes in May, they might make up their mind. All right, now, if you remove 10% out of 36, 10 out of the 36%, that leaves 26. 26. Now, you consider the major presidential contenders. You got Ping Lacson, Kiko, Isko, okay. Who else? Pacquiao. Yes, and then Lenny. Okay. Lenny is believed to have slid from the original 30 during the first surveys down to 16. So she slipped by 4. And that's probably accurate uh, because Isko's rating has climbed up somewhat. And it is believed that the 4% went to Isko. So Isko is rising, Lenny is slipping. Now, of course, there is word going around that in many large companies, large banks and offices, the employees were allegedly, I'll say that again, allegedly told to vote for Lenny. Now, others say that that is an expression, an admission of what? Desperation, they say. Desperation. And, uh, well, we don't really know, but some netizens say uh, their bosses told them to vote for Lenny, and it's some kind of a mandatory thing. All right, and there would be consequences in case you don't vote for Lenny. What happens? Yeah. Yes. All right. Now, uh, um, I'm not here to say I'm for BBM, right? And it also looks like that in the last CNN debate, Ping Lacson seems to have ascended in credibility and in acceptance from the from where he stood before. This is about uh, voters' acceptance. Of course, you know that Ping Lacson has a clear mind and he has had experience in uh, administration because he was the head of the PNP, and that's a large organization, right? Uh, and he's also a strategist, a thinker, a planner, a tactician of sorts. Now, let's get out from there and talk about other people now urging or advising presidential contenders who seem to have no chance at all to already throw up their hands in the air and just simply give up for wisdom's sake, practical wisdom, common sense. Because if you are a presidential contender and you know what it means, you also know whether you have a chance or not. It's not even as close as what they call a punch to the moon. No. Uh, uh, if if you are only, let's say, if you have a 6% or you have 2% or you have 10%, even 16% in just 2 months left before the elections, how much chance do you have? You can't work out that kind of a magic, right? And already people are aware that uh, somebody, some sinister plots may be cooking to avert a Marcos presidency. So, how to avert a Marcos presidency? We don't know. But I don't have to warn you or anybody, but common sense tells us that we can see the consequences. Like, people are so intense about a Marcos presidency, for or against. Those who are for are intense, and those who are against are intense. Okay, but those who are for can easily pull in no less than 35 million people out there in the streets to go out to the streets in mass protest, bigger than the EDSA 1 um, rally, bigger than the EDSA 1. right? And what happens? Can you guess if there's any force, military or otherwise, that can control that mass? Of course, think about it. And if that happens, it could happen that it could be like the French Revolution, where certain heads rolled. All right. So if there's a massive fraud in the elections, if there's cheating, if there are sinister plots to cause violence in order that there will be a public disorder and to call off the elections or whatever in order just to avert a Marcos presidency, there will be a surge of a huge wave of human beings, warm bodies going out to the streets and marching. And you know where they are headed. They will go to those who want to avert that Marcos presidency. Well, this is just a possible scenario, right? Now, also there is word that the CIA might be involved in some uh, they call tycoons. Now, this is also a work of the imagination, but it could have basis in fact. But I'm just saying this so that people will be aware of certain possibilities. That's as far as I go. I'm not saying it reflects my thinking, no. I'm just saying that these are being talked about. And it's best to bring them out, right? Rather than keep them to yourself. And then people will get what? Caught with their pants down and get surprised, right? Okay, now, what does that need? Therefore, we all need to pray. Some of us may be praying, some of us may be praying a little or maybe seldom, and others don't pray at all. Now, however, it doesn't mean that if you never prayed or you hardly prayed, doesn't mean that you don't know how to pray. It doesn't mean you're godless. It could be that you were just too busy or you had some other reason or you were feeling lazy. But you know how it is. When God touches hearts, He can cause people to kneel in prayer and ask God to intervene in their affairs. And you know what? God answers prayers. God answers prayers. He hears prayers. In fact, He knows what we need even before we ask Him. But God also wants us to participate. How? By prayer. He wants us to ask. That is our participation. The action is His, the prayer is ours. All right? Now, if you are a skeptic, maybe you are traumatized by the events in your life and in the events of the lives of others, and you come to the conclusion that God doesn't care, you might be in for a surprise. Try. Try it one more time. Try. And then don't speak much about the problem, all right? Because by speaking much of the problem often and often again, you may be multiplying the problem. What you do is pray for the solution. And if you don't know what the solution is, uh, ask God for uh, something general like peace. All right, you don't know the exact solution, but Peace is a result that you want. All right. Understanding, harmony, okay, dialogue, okay, and wisdom. All right. And God will understand where you're coming from. All right. I just try it. Maybe. Who knows? It might work. It has worked for me in the events of my life. Yes. Yes. True. You know, I'm turning 82 this June, right? But so far, God has equipped me with and gifted me with a sound mind. Yeah, and some intelligence. Yeah, and also a sense of humor at times. Uh, and then, uh, well, look, I look, uh, I can walk. Yeah, I can walk 2 kilometers, 5 kilometers, even 10 kilometers if need be per day. Okay, but I do that every other day. I can still do that. I can still bike, but I avoid biking just in case. Uh, it's nice to be careful because you don't want to come out with a broken bone, right? Yeah. Okay, something like that. But I may again bike. All right, I do biking around the neighborhood. Yeah. All right. So, and I can still eat. I can still eat. What name it? Shrimps, prawns, what they call pinakbet. Yes, the Ilocano specialties. Yeah, right. And the Kapampangan varieties. Yes, and I still eat meat. Yes, uh, and Tanya was good enough. My daughter Tanya was so sweet last night, and also my son, because my daughter bought some steak, and then Jay cooked them together with Diana. Oh, Diana uh, made good stuff. Diana and Jay as a tandem, right? And we all ate with some pasta. That was good. But sometimes I want to revert to something simple, like kamote leaves, kamote tops. Yeah, that's Filipino way. And then we prepare a dip of uh, fish sauce and some calamansi, that's citrus fruit, calamansi. Yeah, all right. Or vinegar. Then we dip the kamote tops into that preparation, and sometimes for the hang of it, we use our hands and and just scoop up uh, steaming rice on a plate together with the commodity leaves, and then that's it. We have a good um, meal, right? Of course, it comes with fried fish, yes, simple stuff, right? Or sometimes it may come with some uh, pork, yes, slices of pork, fried pork, or also grilled fish. Mm, yes, and it's already a good life. Yes. Now, in the meantime, let's take a look at the other news. Okay. Yeah, just a second. Okay, here's uh okay, here, horrible attack. Russian air forces destroyed 66 military facilities. Right? This is contributed by Deep Journal. Thanks to Deep Journal for this news. Okay, now, mhm. And in another news, this is by ANC News. Military casualties pile up in Russian invasion. Okay, that was the news 8 hours ago. And here, there's another news from GMA. GMA. Ukraine and Russia uh, could not come to agree on a ceasefire. Maybe the terms of the ceasefire were not acceptable to both, certain terms. Anyway, so let's pray that a ceasefire will happen. Okay, and then uh, here, an Inquirer. This is a newspaper, powerful newspaper, influential newspaper. Inquirer news. Ukrainian reporter makes emotional plea to Johnson. Okay? Uh, she says this: you are afraid because NATO is not willing to defend, because NATO is afraid of the World War III, but it has already started. She said it plainly, directly. The news says, according to, uh, did they say Inquirer? That's right. Ukrainian journalist challenged British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Tuesday, March 1, about current sanctions imposed on Russia and the lack of a NATO military response at a press conference in Warsaw, Poland. In Warsaw, Poland. This is via Reuters. Okay, via Reuters. So we want to acknowledge those that the sources of our news that we read here. We don't want to displace them. We just want to quote them. Yes, and we want to honor them and acknowledge them. All right. Now, here's another news. European Parliament. This is EU Reporter. This is from EU Reporter. European Parliament President welcomes Ukraine application for EU candidate status. Now, this is different from what I received as news the other day, that EU rejected temporarily the application of Ukraine. But now, according to EU reporter, European Parliament President welcomes Ukraine application for EU candidate status. Now, that's different. All right. So, um, for now, that's as far as we go. We'll come back and let you in on other news items so that we'll all be informed and we'd know what to do. We'll be aware. In the meantime, have a good day. Keep safe. I'll come back. Same channel. This is Manilumba. And oh, before I forget, click subscribe and hit the bell. It will help us. Right? Remember, click subscribe, hit the bell. And we'll be back with more news, same channel. Amen. All right. See you. Stay safe.